A few years back, someone told me that magic is the only science of everything that I've not been able to explain. This sentence took with me for a long time, and it actually defined my way of thinking and has been able to explain to me the history of humanity in a different manner. For this guy, magic was the creation of tools. It was the idea that he or she could make out of its environment a lot more, create, hunt, and be able to make sure that he or she survives alongside predators. Once the tools were there, what ended up happening was that we were able to start trading. We were able to start moving goods from one place to the other, allowing us to understand that one place that was created in one setting was available to create value for another. And with the Industrial Revolution, this was allowing us to really go further and scale this to its biggest potential, making sure that all the resources that we're able to access on this planet were not only available to others, but were able to turn into this repeatable value creation activity. And here's where the concept of commodity trading came about. This was the moment when we started turning our environment into the opportunity for all of us to live a comfortable life on one side of the world with the resources that were created on the other side of the world. And this is when our planet became for sale. As we were going down the line of the curve of this commodity trading and the distribution of commodities started growing all around the world, we started seeing also the fight and the war for resources, for space, for land, and actually war between all of us. The First World War came, and the Second World War came. And this was when emissions all around the world started exploding. After this war came, we had a lot of identity to figure out. We were not able to think of ourselves as this society that was living peacefully all around the world, and the only way that we were able to find the definition of ourselves within this realm was to start seeking confidence in the resources that we were able to tap into. And this is where the role of money came in. While our hearts and souls and also minds were starved because we were seeking post-war comfort, we were able to find this one element that was giving us confidence that we have a definition of success. And this is where it all went wrong. Our woods and forests became timber. Our cows became cattle. Our animals became a commodity. Our lands became monocultures. And while we were delivering all these commodities around the world, we were actually making sure that humanity was prosperous, but at a bit of a cost. Inequality was on the rise, and it had been since this moment that this war finished. Our planet was also at a state where the resources that we were using from it were beyond what it was able to offer to us. The living index was going down, demonstrating that our ecosystem was not able to handle it anymore, while in the same time, our bodies were filled with the waste that we were creating. To finally get to this moment where our whole ecosystem wasn't really able to handle it anymore, starting to demonstrate to us that it is not able to collaborate with us anymore. The math simply doesn't work, and the economic model that we've developed simply doesn't make sense. Because the system that we're using is reliant on KPIs that are not anymore connected to reality. Just over the last decades, we have seen a stagnation of the economy that is continuing up until today, and we are able to look up just the headlines of every single newspaper in this current moment and see that there's something that is in dissonance with the actual reality that we're experiencing. The reason for this is that the KPIs that we're using, such as growth, gross profits, gross margins, really are just disconnected from the reality of our planet. and the reality of the cost that our planet is paying for us to be able to wonderfully live in a comfortable setting with a lot of resources that go beyond the actual need that we might be having on a daily basis. Take a moment here. There's a lot to digest. Isn't it a shame that we've never been educated as much as we are today, yet with all of this knowledge, we're scratching the surface of achieving an equilibrium with our ecosystem? Isn't it also a shame that supposedly we've been increasing continuously the wealth on this planet, yet the value that is making sure that we all survive on this planet is not embedded in the way we calculate the success of our economy? Isn't it also a shame that supposedly we're all good leaders and we manage our companies and teams and groups better than ever, but we haven't understood the one single entity that we should not be managing, which is nature? My journey into fighting climate change started on a beach like this. I was supposed to be surfing. What ended up happening was that within a few days, I was collecting plastic everywhere because this was the only thing that I was seeing in this particular moment. Little did I know that within a year, I would have left my job, left my city, and dedicated myself to helping businesses decarbonize and helping them understand the value of nature for their own success. You cannot unknow what you know. Every single piece of mind that is sitting here is aware of the idea that climate change exists. But somehow, we forget on a daily basis. And for this reason, there's an opportunity for us to gather our thoughts and ideas and collect the vision that can be combined in a few lessons. The first lesson that I learned on this journey that I've been on for the last 5 years is that the economy doesn't mean a thing if it doesn't account for climate risk. At the moment, we're playing magic mathematics when we think of what is a successful business, individual, company, because we truly don't understand the impact on a daily basis that we have with every single action, purchase that we make. The second first lesson that I've learned is that the progress that we've had is the average of the progress of everyone else. We might think individually that we've been able to achieve a lot, and we can celebrate our successes on a daily basis. But the truth is that if you put this in the context of climate change, it doesn't really matter if Europe has developed a very elaborate plan to decarbonize itself until every single other stakeholder that is out there, all of the suppliers that European companies work with, have not decided to collaborate. It really doesn't matter that maybe each one of us is sustainable with the daily purchases that we make until we don't use this voice, not only with our money, but also in our community. The planet is an ecosystem. It's a living being, and it needs to be perceived for the issues that it's experiencing in the same manner. Because climate change is not one single issue. It's the collection of the many mistakes and bad choices that we've been making as a society, as an economy, for a long time. And for this reason, we need to understand the collaborative and the element of dependency that we have for each one of us to be part of this journey and for each one of us to push this progress further. We're part of an ecosystem. We're not managers of it. Humans have assumed for the last decades the position of deciding on what is going to happen with the planet. And so we have, which is why we are where we are at the moment. But the truth is that there is nothing at stake at this particular moment different than humanity. The planet will be fine. The planet is a living being that is built of a lot of resilient species that will be there after we're gone if we continue disregarding the threat that is imminent, and it's for each one of us. Most importantly, the lesson that I've learned over the last few years that we should stop thinking in the construct of competition. We've been given the confidence that it is really important to consider ourselves as the winners, as the successes of a business, of a story that has made us be somewhere on top of a hierarchy, of a pyramid, or whatever the institution you're part of is. In the context of climate change, this option does not exist. We have no opportunity to think of us against them, me against you, because we have a short time frame to be able to make the decisive choices that together we're going to handle this massive collection of issues and start untangling these problems one after the other. Magic is the science of everything that we've not been able to explain. I invite you to start questioning everything that you experience on a daily basis and put the prism of magic in it to make sure that we see a sustainable economy tomorrow. Thank you.